Hi everyone, here is the next instalment in this fabulous Greek myth book with the Greek myth Echo and Narcissus. Hope you enjoy it. All the goddesses like to run through the silent woods on Mount Olympus, playing and chasing the deer. There was Queen Hera, soundless as the sun's rays. There was Diana, quiet as moonlight. There were the wood nymphs, flitting like thistledown. And then there was Echo. Echo was always chattering, arguing or shrieking with laughter. The deer scattered as soon as Echo opened her mouth. "Echo!" said Hera sternly to her one day. "You've done it again!" "What? I didn't do anything," said Echo pertly. "Yes, you did. You talked. You're always talking." "I'm not." "You are. Don't tell me you're not." "Not?" said Echo, who always had to have the last word. Not. Hera was so angry that she pointed a magic finger at Echo. "Once and for all, be silent!" The nymph was struck dumb. She put her hands to her throat, her fingers to her lips, and looked around in horror. "Let this be a lesson to you. You always wanted the last word. Now you shall have nothing else." "Nothing else," said Echo. She found the words in her mouth, and they were the only ones that she could speak. "You may go now," said the Queen of the Gods. "Go now," said Echo, without meaning to. Echo ran sobbing off into the mountain and wandered about miserably in the foothills. There, amid his flock of sheep, she saw a shepherd boy. He was combing his curly hair into ringlets and brushing the grass off his tunic. This was Narcissus, and Narcissus was as beautiful as any god. The shepherdesses could not lay eyes on him without falling in love. Echo was no different from the shepherdesses. She fell in love with Narcissus at first sight, and what she would have given to be able to tell him so. But her lips were sealed, like a locked door, and all she could do was follow him about, her hands full of flowers and her eyes full of love. "What can I do for you?" he asked when he saw her gazing at him. For you, said Echo, and laid the flowers at his feet. Unfortunately, Narcissus was quite used to women falling in love with him. It happened all the time. He knew how handsome he was, and that made him very, very vain. Whereas still, he did not much like women, did not want their sickly, syrupy love. Echo only annoyed him, trailing along behind him, saying nothing, staring with her mouth open. "Everywhere I go, you follow," he complained. Follow, said Echo. "Stupid girl, I suppose you think you love me." Love me, pleaded Echo. "You bore me, leave me alone." Alone, wailed Echo. The word filled her with horror. Day after day, week after week, month after month, she dogged Narcissus' footsteps. In her unhappiness, she grew pale and thin, and when all her beauty had faded because of her love for him, he said, "Oh, do go away! I hate the sight of you! Do you really suppose I could ever care for a stick insect like you? Look at yourself!" Look at yourself, sobbed Echo. "Gladly," said the vain young man, and went to the pool in the centre of the forest and examined his reflection. Echo's love turned to hate. And though she had no words, she wished a wicked, wordless wish. She wished that Narcissus should one day love as she loved him, and suffer for it as she was suffering. Then she wandered away into the forest where, in her misery, she grew thinner and thinner, paler and paler. At last, her body faded away altogether. Only her voice was left to blow about with the leaves. All this while, Narcissus sat by the pool staring at his reflection. Somehow he could not seem to tear himself away. The more he looked, the more he liked what he saw. Narcissus fell in love with the face in the water, just as Echo had fallen in love with him. He longed to kiss those lips, just as Echo had longed to kiss his. At last, leaning down towards the shining pool, he kissed the water, and the face reflected there dissolved into ripples. "Oh, don't go!" Narcissus reached out and plunged his hand into the water, but only managed to shatter the reflection altogether. So he sat very still and gazed and gazed and gazed. Meanwhile, in her palace, Hera, Queen of the Gods, regretted her temper and sent her handmaidens to look for Echo and forgive her. They searched the high rocks and wooded places, but when they called her name, "Echo! Echo! Their words simply floated back to them on the breeze. Echo, echo, echo. They did find one thing, though, a pretty yellow and white flower growing beside a pond. It leaned out over the water as if admiring its own reflection in the pool. For Narcissus had taken root where he sat. He too had pined away in hopeless love, until all that remained of his body were tissuey petals and a bending stalk. "I've never seen this kind of flower before," said one of the nymphs. "I wonder what it's called." And the breeze in the woods seemed to whisper, "Narcissus, Narcissus." To this day, the same flower can be found growing wild on the banks of ponds, leaning out over the water as if in love with its own reflection. And people call it Narcissus, though they have long since forgotten the vain shepherd boy. And that's the end of that myth. I really hope you enjoyed.